It's the middle of July and you're dragging the hose across the yard again for the third time this week. The tomatoes are wilting faster than you can water them. The squash leaves curl up at noon like they're begging for mercy. Your water bill is climbing, your back is aching, and somewhere deep down you're starting to wonder if this garden is worth the fight. Every summer, the same battle, and every summer the sun seems to win. I want you to stop and think about this for a minute, because it needn't be that way at all. There is a way to build a garden bed that waters itself, not for a week, not for a season, but for 20 years. No hoses, no sprinklers, no fertilizer bags, no daily chores. You do the work once, and the ground itself takes over from there. And the whole secret is something most folks burn in a pile every autumn: old wood. When I was a boy, my grandmother never burned her brush pile the way the neighbors did. She'd watch the men torching their branches in the fall and shake her head slow. "They're burning next year's water," she'd say, "and they'll spend next summer hauling it back in buckets." I didn't understand her then. I do now. Let me tell you who I am. My name is Jacob Miller. I'm an Amish farmer out in the Holmes County settlement here in Ohio, and my wife is Rebecca. Building soil that feeds and waters itself is the only way we've ever gardened. Nobody on our farms has time to drag a hose, and most of our places don't have one to drag. And I'll be honest with you about that title straight off, the way I always am. This method is not lazy the year you build it. There's real work in the building: digging, hauling, stacking. The lazy part comes after, and it lasts 2 decades. You work once, and then the garden works for you. That's the honest trade. Before we get into it, if you like learning the old ways of doing things, do 2 small things for me. Tap that like button down there. It helps this little channel more than you'd ever guess. And subscribe, so you can keep learning right alongside Rebecca and me. That's all I'll ask. Now, let me show you the buried secret. Here's how it will go. First, the story of the farmer who proved this works. A man who was fined more than any farmer in his country for burying wood and who grew lemons in the snow while his neighbor's fields burned dry. Then, the 6 steps to build your own mound. The right wood, the tight stack, the green layer, the cap, the first watering, and what happens beneath the soil that keeps it alive for 20 years. By the end of this video, you'll know how to turn this autumn's brush pile into a reservoir under your garden that waters your crops through every drought, for free, forever. And you'll understand why the world forgot it and why it's time to remember. Stay with me now, friend. Number 1, understand the sponge. In the Alps of Austria, back in the 1980s, there was a farmer named Sepp Holzer who did something his neighbors thought was madness. While they burned their fallen branches every autumn, he buried his. He piled rotting logs into great mounds, covered them with earth, and planted into them. The inspectors came with clipboards. They fined him for his terraces, fined him for his ponds, fined him for his mounds. Dozens of violations in a single year. By the end of the decade, he was known as the most fined farmer in Austria, and he said it himself with a crooked smile. In 1989, the agricultural board threatened to take his farm. His answer was to invite them to walk his land and see his harvest: lemons, kiwis, grapes, and figs ripening on mountain slopes where only spruce should grow, in soil that stayed moist through droughts that emptied his neighbors' wells. The secret was underfoot. Rotting wood is a sponge, not a poetic one, a physical one. The cell walls of wood are a labyrinth of tiny tunnels, and as fungi open them up, rain and snowmelt flood in. In laboratory tests, heavily decayed pine soaked up 5 times its own dry weight in water. Oak doubles or triples its weight. Every log you bury is a water tank that never needs filling. Number 2, choose the right wood. The foundation of the mound is always the same: the biggest, oldest, most rotten logs you can find. Oak and maple are best because hardwood breaks down slowly and feeds the soil for years. A good hardwood core can take 20 years to fully return to the earth, and it feeds your plants the whole time. But listen close, because this choice can kill the whole bed. Never use cedar, never use walnut, and never use anything treated or painted. Those woods poison the roots and stall the mound before it ever starts. Storm-felled branches, fallen trees, the brush pile you'd have burned, that's your timber. It costs nothing, because it was always waste. Number 3, stack it tight. Lay your logs in a trench or right on top of the grass and pack them close. Fill every gap with smaller branches and twigs. This is not a loose bonfire pile, friend. Every air pocket you leave is a future sinkhole, a spot where the mound will collapse and your plants will sink. A tight stack settles slow and even and holds its shape for years. Number 4, feed the microbes their greens. Now the step that decides whether your mound feeds your plants or starves them. Rotting wood is hungry for nitrogen, and if you give it none, the microbes will steal it from your vegetables. Yellow leaves, stunted growth, disappointment. Old farmers call it the nitrogen trap. The way around it is simple. Pack every crevice with nitrogen-rich greens. Grass clippings, fresh manure, kitchen scraps, even urine if you've a mind to use it, the way our fathers did. One gardener I read of skipped this step and watched her seedlings yellow and stall. She dug in clippings and a wheelbarrow of compost, and within weeks the beds sprang to life. Feed the rot first, and the rot will feed you for 20 years. Number 5, cap it and water it once. Once your green layer is thick, cap the whole mound with a foot of good topsoil and a blanket of mulch. Then water it in well. And here is the beautiful part. That first year is the only year you'll need to water with any regularity. After the wood swells, the mound takes over. Drive a moisture probe into a well-built bed in the dry heat of July, when the neighbors' hoses run day and night, and you'll find 40 to 60% moisture down where the roots reach, like a spring rain, every day from below. A retired school teacher built her first mound from storm-felled maple, packing every gap with grass clippings and manure, and hasn't touched her hose since the second spring. Her water bill dropped so sharply, the city sent a notice asking if her meter was broken. In the Pacific Northwest, another gardener packed her hose away for good in the second year, reporting the soil stayed moist the whole season through. And city folks working with nothing but curbside logs and storm brush have watched their beds sail through heat waves without a single drop of extra water. The pattern is always the same. Build it once, build it right, and the hose becomes a thing you own but never use. Number 6, the warmth and the 20-year trust fund. Beneath the soil, the mound is not sleeping. Microbes and fungi swarm the moist logs, and their work is exothermic. Every bite of wood releases a pulse of heat. The ground above a buried log stays several degrees warmer than the flat fields around it. Seeds germinate earlier in spring. Frosts that kill young shoots on bare ground pass harmlessly over the mound. Tomatoes and squash keep ripening weeks after the neighbors' gardens wither, and as the wood breaks down over the years, it releases nitrogen, phosphorus, and calcium at the slow pace plants actually need. No boom and bust, no fertilizer flush and collapse. Even after a decade, the soil at the heart of a mound tests richer than the ground around it. You are not building a bed, friend. You are building an inheritance. Now here's where it all comes together. Take the biggest rotten logs you can find, oak or maple, never cedar, walnut, or treated wood. Stack them tight, filling every gap with branches and twigs. Pack the crevices with grass clippings and manure so the microbes eat the wood and not your plants. Cap it with a foot of topsoil and mulch. Water it well that first year, and then put the hose away. The wood will hold 5 times its weight in water, warm the soil through the cold months, and feed your crops for 20 years. No hoses, no fertilizer, no struggle. Now let me tell you why so few folks know this. After 1920, the tractors came. Machines demanded flat fields. No bumps, no mounds, nothing to slow a steel wheel. So the old mounds were scraped level and the brush was burned and the land was reworked to suit the machines instead of the roots. What remained was easy to plow and hungry forever. Hungry for the fertilizer they sell you and the irrigation they sell you, season after season. There's no money for anyone in telling you to bury your brush pile. The wood is free, the water falls from the sky, and that's exactly why you never heard of it. So let me be straight with you about the title, the way I always do. Lazy. After the building, yes, but the first day is real work with a shovel and a wheelbarrow, and I'd not pretend otherwise. Waters itself for 20 years. That's the honest truth of a well-built hardwood mound, proven in the Alps and in backyards across this country. though your results will depend on your wood, your climate, and your care in the building. And the forgotten Amish method, the habit of wasting nothing and letting the land do the work, is truly ours and truly old and truly forgotten by most. Let's do the math. A summer of daily watering costs you hours every week and shows up on the bill besides. Bags of fertilizer run $20 each, several times a season. A mound costs you one afternoon of work and a brush pile you were going to burn anyway. The school teacher's water bill dropped so low, the city checked her meter. The suburban gardener who turned his brush pile into a winding bed said the savings paid for his seed order twice over, and his harvest was the largest he'd ever seen. The old way pays for itself in the first year, and then it keeps paying for 19 more. That is the true bargain of the buried wood. So here's what I'd have you do this week. Don't build the whole garden yet. Pick one spot, the driest, most troublesome corner you have. Gather what the last storm knocked down, or what's sitting in your brush pile now. Stack it tight, feed it greens, cap it, water it once. That's all. Come spring, plant into it and watch what the buried wood does for you. And bring the little ones in on it. Children love the building of a mound. It's stacking and digging and mud, the best things there are. Let them haul the small branches and pack the clippings. What they'll learn is worth more than the harvest. That waste is only a thing you haven't used yet, and that the land rewards the patient. Now I'd love to hear from you. Tell me down in the comments. Do you have a brush pile sitting in your yard right now, and what were you planning to do with it? Share it with the rest of us. Those old ways slip away when nobody passes them on, and I read every one. Next time, I'll show you how we keep a whole garden fed through winter with what most folks rake to the curb, the old way. It pairs with this mound like bread with butter. Until then, look at your brush pile differently. It's not waste to be burned. It's 20 years of water, waiting to be buried. Build the mound once, tend it gently, waste nothing, and grow more than you need, so you can share the harvest with the people you love. The ground remembers what you give it, friend. Give it wood, and it will give you back abundance long after your grandchildren have gardens of their own.